aujourd'hui à ce festival. Merci beaucoup.
That we're seeing this film today is something of a miracle, because I thought it had been lost.
Alors pour avoir ce film aujourd'hui, c'est quelque chose qui tient du miracle, parce que monsieur Ridley le pensait perdu.
The film premiered at the 1990 Cannes Film Festival, and there were only 4 prints of the film done.
Pendant sa première, il y avait seulement 4 copies du film qui étaient sorties.
For a film that was meant to be a film that was understood in a way purely by the ravishment of the images and sound.
La capacité de se ravir devant un film était la seule façon de pouvoir voir et apprécier ce film.
It was heartbreaking because, as you may know, celluloid deteriorates very quickly. Celluloid.
Et,
What films put on?
Ah, ok. Le matériel, la matière. Le film. Merci à vous. Je passe en vous. Voilà, cette matière, les pellicules se détériorent très rapidement.
So very quickly, the film, in a way, no longer existed because the 35mm had deteriorated, and also because the film wasn't a huge commercial success. There was nobody looking after the film.
Alors, le film n'ayant jamais été un succès commercial, il a simplement arrêté d'exister à une époque où la détérioration des véhicules concernait.
But then, as I say, a miracle happened, and a group of people got together who were fans of the film, who remembered seeing the film a long time ago, and managed to get together all the elements of the film.
Tous les éléments du film ont pu être rassemblés, et ça, encore une fois, c'est quelque chose qui tient parfaitement du miracle, vous êtes monsieur Ridley. Plusieurs personnes se sont rappelées de l'existence de ce film et l'ont remis sur le devant de la scène.
Even those scenes that had been lost, that I hadn't seen for about 10 to 15 years, we managed to track down a print in Italy, in a cupboard somewhere, and cut them in to make the final print.
Quelque part en Italie, dans un placard, il y a plusieurs parties du film qui ont été retrouvées il y a 10 à 15 ans. Plusieurs scènes que M. Ridley lui-même n'avait pas pu voir.
So what you're about to see is the film exactly as it looked 25 years ago, if not a bit better.
Voilà, je vois que la plupart d'entre vous ont montré. Alors le film que vous apprêtez à voir, c'est le film dans sa version optimale, tel qu'il aurait existé il y a 25 ans.
I won't say, for those of you who don't know the film, I won't say too much because I'll be back afterwards and I can answer your questions.
Voilà, M. Ridley ne peut pas vous en dire trop pour l'instant, je vous invite à voir le film, à apprécier, il reviendra tout à l'heure pour vos questions.
But the film is a dream of childhood. It's a mythical story of a young 8-year-old boy growing up in a mythical Midwest America.
Alors, le film représente un rêve d'enfant en réalité, l'histoire d'un jeune enfant de 8 ans qui a grandi dans le Midwest américain.
The film has the feeling of a memory. The feeling is, it might be, that this child is now an old man and is thinking back on the key events of his life.
Le film a quelque chose d'un souvenir. Ce jeune homme revient sur les événements clés de sa vie, alors qu'il a grandi, qu'il est plus vieux.
But he is an unreliable narrator.
Un narrateur non fiable, un narrateur auquel on ne peut pas se fier en termes de ressenti, d'émotion.
He lies, he cheats,
Non, il triche.
he deceives you, and he deceives himself.
Voilà, il trompe et il se trompe lui-même. Il ment seulement à lui-même.
And the film offers no answers to this. It just offers a sequence of questions.
Voilà, pas de réponse donnée, seulement une séquence de questions.
I've always said the way to enjoy the film, everyone, is just to let the images and the music ravish you.
Pour apprécier ce film au mieux, laissez-vous envahir par les images, la musique, du mieux que vous pouvez.
So I'll see you afterwards when you've been hopefully suitably ravished.
Je vous verrai après quand, je l'espère, vous serez ravis de votre expérience.
Thank you.
Okay, so was it an original story? Is it something that actually happened, or is it entirely fictional?
It's entirely fictional, you'll be happy to hear. The initial idea came out of a sequence of collages that I did as a student at St Martin's School of Art. And they were a sequence of a dreamlike America where every woman looked like Marilyn Monroe and every man looked like Elvis Presley. And it all took place in this mythical golden wheat field.
Alors c'est entièrement fictionnel, ça vient d'une séquence de collage que M. Ridley a réalisée quand il était étudiant. L'idée était de représenter des hommes qui pour la plupart auraient une apparence de Elvis Presley et des femmes qui auraient une apparence de Marilyn Monroe.
So that was a kind of vague starting point with the film. And then over a sequence of 2 or 3 years, I gradually linked some of the images that I was working on together, because in some of the images there was a little boy, a photograph of a boy that I'd culled from another film. In fact, I'd taken the image from Damien, the horror film Damien, and I had this boy running through different images, and gradually I linked them together to form a story. Oh, 2 mics.
Right. Alors, reprenons ces idées qui ont été données précédemment. Le point de départ, c'était, donc pour revenir à l'idée de collage, c'était de mixer ces images ensemble avec, pour point de départ, l'histoire d'un petit enfant dans le contexte filmique que vous avez découvert.
And that's where it came from. So there's no kind of narrative history other than what I made up. But of course, the film's then full of all the things that obsess me in terms of death and memory and love and atomic explosions, and also all the themes are mine, if you like. But the actual narrative is not something that's taken from another source at all.
Voilà, donc la narration en réalité est fictive et il n'y a que des éléments d'amour, de rêve qui sont propres à la personnalité de M. Ridley qui l'a fait intervenir dans l'histoire principale. Voilà. Autre question?
Sorry, my English is not very good, but I prefer ask my question to Mr. Ridley in English. Do you take inspiration in the movies The Other of Robert Mulligan?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Sorry. I can repeat if you want. Do you have inspiration in the movie The Other of Robert Mulligan?
No. Sorry, there's nothing else I can say there. No. If you want to know what the inspirations were, I can tell you that. I mean, I think there's several films that directly influenced me during the making of this film. Obviously, the shooting of the landscapes takes a lot of its inspiration from Days of Heaven by Terrence Malick, and indeed, I researched and looked into how a lot of that was shot, filming, directly into sunlight and the time of day that you need to film at. And we developed a very similar style of filming.
Ok, donc il y a effectivement plusieurs influences, surtout en termes de décor. Monsieur Ridley vient d'évoquer un film dont le nom m'échappe. C'est the movie you were talking about, Days of.
It's got a time.
Days of Heaven.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, but I don't know what it's called here. But,
Oh. Les Moissons du Ciel. Right, so that's the French name. Les Moissons du Ciel.
And the other thing that we did, which is very similar to that, is we rehearsed all day. We turned up on the film set at about the usual time of 6 in the morning, but we didn't start rolling film until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So what we would do is rehearse all day and then film very quickly while the sun was at the most golden.
Alors concernant la réalisation du film, ça a donné lieu à énormément de répétitions qui ont pu commencer très tôt, notamment 6 heures du matin, et qui ont pu se poursuivre relativement tard jusqu'à 4 heures de l'après-midi. La plus grande partie de la journée concernait les répétitions, et le film serait filmé, plutôt la scène serait filmée très rapidement après coup.
And the other thing that I did when I turned up was that a lot of the wheat I painted yellow myself, so I would be the first on the set with a bucket of yellow oil, watercolor paint, and painted the wheat cadmium yellow for the brightest yellow I could find.
Did you actually paint the landscapes yourself?
The wheat, I painted the wheat.
The wheat,
The
all right.
wheat.
And so that's something we have been able to see within the movie, right?
Sorry?
Is it something we've been able to see during the movie?
Yes, you see the wheat in the movie,
All right.
and the wheat you see in the movie, I painted.
All right, thank you for the clarification. Ok, très bien. Donc en réalité, il y a beaucoup d'éléments picturesques liés à la peinture. Les scènes durant lesquelles on voit le blé sont les scènes que M. Ridley a peintes lui-même.
And a lot of that is to do with the fact that one, wheat isn't that yellow, as it is obviously in the film, but also when wheat grows, it has lots of areas of green in it. So I was determined to make it as flat yellow as I could and get rid of the green that appears.
Donc il y a une dominante de jaune dans les décors. La volonté était de se débarrasser de l'élément verdoyant dans les décors, et c'est pour ça que ces scènes sont d'un jaune très plat, je dirais.
I should mention a couple of other influences. Night of the Hunter by Charles Lawton is a big influence, and one of the things I kept saying during the making of the film is that if Night of the Hunter was shot in colour, this is the way that it probably would have looked with this intensity.
Donc il y a eu une autre influence, le film Night of the Hunter. Je suis pas sûr qu'il y ait une traduction française. Très bien, bon, littéralement la nuit du chasseur. Vous avez constaté que ce film-là ne suit pas la traduction française, mot à mot par exemple, c'est pour ça que je m'interrogeais. Donc voilà, une autre influence en termes de couleurs.
And also the paintings of Andrew Wyeth were a big influence as well. So there were things that were feeding into it that helped the look come together. Because the most difficult thing I had was to try to explain to people what the look of the film was going to be, because there was no reference for it really.
Donc voilà, il y a eu un manque de référence, et l'un des aspects visuels qui a contribué à l'influence, plutôt l'une des influences visuelles qui a contribué au film, serait les peintures de
Andrew Wyeth. Anyone heard of Andrew Wyeth?
Yeah.
Okay. Most famous American painter, don't worry. Probably a good reason not to know.
Merci.
Bonjour. Well, thank you for this beautiful movie. I was wondering whether there was a contribution from Dick Pope, because he's a well-known DOP, and I was wondering what he brought to the movie.
Well, he bought the cinematography. It's one of the first things that he did. Dick and I worked a long time. I think it was the first feature film, either the first or the second that he had done. His reputation up until then was he had done a documentary done a very wonderful documentary set in Africa, and I had seen some of that footage and thought that's exactly the kind of scale, that kind of epic scale that he was able to bring was what we wanted. And Dick and I walked through every single shot together. It would be impossible to make the film on the very short. I mean, we shot it in 5 weeks, which is a very tight shoot. Did you Dick Poe wanted it in the beginning?
Sorry, Dick.
Dick Poe.
Dick Poe. Sorry. So
He's the cinematographer.
Ok, bon, un cinématographe nommé Dick Poe, qui a eu son influence en termes de, how did he influence the...
Well, I haven't answered that yet. I just said we walked through it. We
D'accord.
went through the whole film.
Alright, thank you. Donc un documentaire réalisé par Dick Poe qui a été visionné par Monsieur Ridley et qui l'a influencé dans la création de ce film.
And what we did was that we had to work out not only exactly the times that we shot, which was really important, but the camera position had to be meticulous in terms of getting that. So all of that was worked out with military precision, almost, and that was, you know, something I worked out with Dick all the way through the film.
Voilà, une constance qui domine le film, c'est la position des caméras qui a été réalisée de façon très méticuleuse, pratiquement au millimètre près. Donc la notion de stabilité visuelle est très importante.
I mean, the main thing is that to work with someone like Dick is wonderful because they're able to understand exactly what you're trying to achieve, almost before you can verbally explain it. You know, you just have to say a few words and they get it.
Voilà, donc la réalisation de ce film avec le collègue en question, c'est avec Dick Poe, quelque chose de très instinctif parce qu'il y avait généralement besoin de peu de conversation, peu de communication et de mots pour se comprendre et pour arriver à un but précis.
Hello. Very good movie, thank you so much. I would like to ask you why Lindsay Duncan is not naked in the love scene. Was she reluctant to be naked?
No, I'm wondering if you would have asked that if Vigo was clothed and she was naked. I wonder if you would have asked that question if Vigo was clothed and she was naked.
Ok, très bien. Donc, il se demande si vous poseriez la question si Vigo avait ses habits et si la femme avait été nue. Auriez-vous posé cette question? Probablement pas.
There's nothing else to say.
Voilà.
It's subverting a cinematic convention.
Voilà, il y a une convention cinématographique à respecter qui a été respectée.
And it's amazing that it should still get comment 25 years after it was shot.
Et voilà, c'est plutôt impressionnant que 25 ans après, on ait toujours droit à des commentaires sur ces scènes et ces événements.
Oui, je voudrais juste savoir où est-ce que ça a été tourné.
What was it shot?
When?
Where? What's the
It was
place?
shot in Alberta,
Alberta?
in Canada.
Canada.
And we were having to move up the state of Alberta because as we kept on delaying, the harvest and the wheat was kind of dying around us. So we had to keep on chasing farmland to get golden wheat. And it was the kind of joke that we would end up at the North Pole if the film went on for any longer. But it was all shot both in terms of location and in terms of the interior work. It was all done in studio and location in Alberta.
Alors en termes de studio et de réalisation, tout a eu lieu à Alberta. Il y a eu une évolution géographique du tournage du film qui a eu lieu vers le nord parce que, eh bien, à mesure que le tournage avançait, le blé mûrissait, on va aller avec mûrissait, merci beaucoup, mûrissait de plus en plus et il était difficile d'avoir une stabilité visuelle. Si tout restait au même endroit, on aurait fini par avoir un paysage différent à mesure que le film avance. Et c'est plutôt amusant parce que s'ils avaient continué comme ça encore longtemps, ils auraient probablement fini par se retrouver au pôle Nord.
Philip, we finish the questions. Oh, yeah. Just if you can approach Philip Ridley because it's very important.